All right, you made it to the end of the listing slides. I lost my voice a little bit. Bear with me. I'm going to power through it and get this sucker done. So this is the last third of the slides. The recap a little bit, what you see on your screen there is that, by the way, mine's over here. That's why I keep looking over here, is that we went through the first three phases in the last couple of lessons, and now we're going to wrap it up with the fourth. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of today, you'll see at the bottom here where you see new way, new product. It kind of bleeds into the beginning of this lesson here today. So let's get into it. So this was our last slide yesterday, just kind of talking about the promises of our negotiations, just to kind of refresh your mind a little bit. And now we're going to cover this last part, as I mentioned a second ago. At this point, after I promised them how hard we negotiate for them, I want to bring up some of our marketing packages. I don't know why it pulls up like this. And inside of our marketing packages, this is where you're going to show your client that you're doing a lot, that there's a lot of possibilities out there given the specific package that they choose. Now, if you remember, you guys created a menu in day one or day two of this listen section of this training, and we're going to cover it again in a few moments. But inside of that, there's all these different options. So if they select the highest tier, they're going to get all this stuff. And they might not realize, and you might not realize how much this is or how expensive it could be unless you really put a dollar on it. So that's what I kind of did there. I just did like a rough estimate, give or take. It could be around $3,000, even more, plus countless labor hours, right? If you're doing all these things, professional photos, even mega open houses, syndication of websites, virtual staging, social media reels, etc., etc., etc. And then on top of that, we also have a convenience package. Oh, my voice is bad. Inside of this convenience package, as you can see, we have admin support, a potential for pre-listing cleanings, pre-listing repairs, possible listing home warranty, personal concierge, pre-inspections, pre-appraisals, and all that type of stuff. That's a lot. Just looking these side by side, which I do in the next slide here, you can see that all of these on one screen, if you take some of the money on it, it could be up to $8,000. And yeah, if you have, say, $1 million or $1.5 million property and they choose a 7% package, yeah, it definitely can get that high. If it sits on the market for long, you got your ads running, you have your personal concierge service. If you have one of those things in your menu, and all these other things in there. By all means, you can take what I do also for your business if you want. I don't mind. I didn't show it to you until now because I wanted you to kind of go through the process yourself so it's more your own. If I just gave you the information right off the bat, then you'll be less committed. But if you made it this far in the training, which probably maybe 10% of the people would, then it just tells me that you're a winner, go-getter anyways, and I don't have to worry about that. But anyways, you get the point. So at this point of presentation, this is what we're doing. I do want to mention that quite often these slides are not inside of the presentation themselves. These particular slides I just showed you are really for people who have a hard time justifying the value of paying you. And you have to be like, well, this is what you get. The whole point of it is for them to go, oh my God, I can't believe I get all of that for that. That's what you're trying to get them to do. And then when I go back into the negotiation thing, I hit it one more time, possibly, maybe, depending on the situation. I go, oh, by the way, just so you know, all the Homes by Cusi members, we went through the Coaching by Cusi negotiation training, the FES negotiating training course. FES is a subsidiary of Keller Williams. It's a training thing. I mentioned that yesterday or the class before. And so we're going to go, we haven't done it yet. We keep saying we will, but we're going to go through the negotiations accredited course, which is just another training. You get CE credits for it. That's why it says CE on it. And also all the team members read, never split the difference. It's part of their requirements to join the Homes by Cusi team. In the 90-day probation, they got to read this book. So it's very important because I want everyone on our team to be well-versed in how to negotiate. And this can make them $100. It can make $100,000 if you negotiate properly. Actually, it did. I have a property right now that we listed for 1.25 and we negotiated for 1.35, and it wasn't necessarily an over-aggressive bidding market. It was a very conservative one, and we got $100,000 in their pocket, right, extra than they were expecting because of tactics that I've learned and implemented and teach back. And now imagine how valuable that is to them. $100,000 valuable. That's a lot of money. Okay, so after this point, I kind of reminded, by the way, just so you know, Mr. and Mr. Seller, we did this, we did this, we did this, we did this, and we were delivering a lot. And this slide, it's either in or out depending on the situation. This is the scarcity slide. And what I say here is like, listen, you can see we do a lot for a lot of people, and our workload is pretty high for each listing. We spend a lot of time, not to mention our buyer business and everything else we're doing. So in order for us to perform at the level we want to perform, we can responsibly and reasonably handle 10 client listings at a time. Right now, we're working with 8. We have a bunch of other appointments coming up. I don't know if they're going to sign or not. I don't know what's going to happen. But once we get around 10 is we kind of push back a little bit because it gets a little too much and it gets overwhelming. And then we're not providing the service to our clients that we deserve. And that's a real thing, by the way. I'm not just making that up. I don't want to just have every deal. I want to make sure all of the listings and clients are being treated appropriately. So that's a real thing right there. Right here is when I give them the menu. I'm like, so, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you saw all the things that we offer, all of the opportunities that are available, how we work, all the steps involved. And now this is when you get to work. I'm going to text or email you this menu. Here's my seller's menu. On this menu, you get to choose the marketing package that you would like. Every seller has a different perspective. But what everyone asks me that it's impossible to answer is, well, does it really make a difference? I do 6 or 7. The answer is, I don't know. I don't live in parallel universes. The only way you would know that is if you lived in a universe with 7, another universe with 6, and another universe with 5, and then compared them. There's no way of doing that. I have no idea if more buyers are going to come off the fence if we do more marketing or less marketing. I just don't know. It's really up to the seller to make that decision, and that's why I'm giving you the opportunity to choose for yourself which package you want to go. Do you want to have a little bit more, spend a little money with the potential of making more? That doesn't sound like a bad idea. But if you're a little more fiscally conservative and you don't want to roll the dice, then maybe not. That's totally up to you. Side note to you guys, I think I said this before, your lowest package on here should be what your going rate is for your area. So our going rate is 5%. So I kind of make that my bottom package. Another side note, we just had a big lawsuit as I'm recording this, and that might change. I might change these percentages just to represent what the seller side gets. And in the conversation after, I say, hey, this is what the seller side gets. So you have the right to offer whatever you want to the buyer side. I do recommend at least this. But we're not there yet. When we get there, we'll modify this training for that. So don't overthink that. Just wanted to kind of throw that out there. And then I have my guarantees. So remember, you do a little scarcity, show your value, a little throwing rocks at enemies by saying this is what we do, and they don't do all these things. And now we want to back it up with guarantees. So I have a couple of them, and these are also in my Google business profile. If you look me up on Google there, which you should do too. But in there it says, if we snooze, we lose, guarantee. This also goes into that one part where I talk about naming tricks. You want to name all these things. So instead of guarantee 1, it's guarantee 1, and the name is we snooze, we lose. And I spelled lose, obviously, the match snooze because that's cute. Whatever, I did it. So what this means here is we don't go under contract by the time that we say we will with the price that we recommend. We will reduce the commission by 1% if the sellers allow. And that, of course, there's caveats. The sellers need a lot of showings, market, house needs to be cleaned, and it has to be applicable, right? Some properties don't apply. So we always going to mention in our pitches to them, every situation is different. This may or may not apply to you. Most of the time it does apply to you. But we are going to have to put this in writing in an agreement if we decide to move forward with this guarantee. Guarantee number 2, no rings attached. If we don't perform to your liking, you can cancel our agreement at any time without any risk of loss. And then I'll say to them, hey, you see, I could be possibly paying $8,000 even more towards marketing your property. That doesn't even count the salaries and man hours that put into this stuff. You can just fire me on the spot for any reason whatsoever, and I'm okay with that. And I explain why. And I'm going to do it again tomorrow when I do the full presentation with you. But I say, hey, I don't want you to be locked into any situation that makes you uncomfortable. I look at this no different than a marriage or a long-term dating. I wouldn't want to be with someone who didn't want to be with me, and that goes with business in our case too. I just don't. Nothing good ever comes out of that. So if you don't feel like I'm performing, I don't feel like I have the right to work with you. Plus, for my mental sanity, and at this point in my career, I just don't want to be a burden on anyone else, and I also don't want anyone being a burden on me. So I don't want, just as much as you don't want me working for you, it'll be uncomfortable for me to work for you. So that's why I have that guarantee. Right. Also, this goes to their concern of contracts. How long is your contract for? And I can say minute by minute. Because they can cancel at any time. It's minute by minute. By the way, that's a lead magnet. All right, number 3. Actually, all these are. Nom, nom, nom. I call it the no one markets more guarantee. Nom, nom, nom. Some people like it. Some people don't. I like it. And I say, if a competing listing is marketing more aggressively than we are, then we will increase the marketing spend above theirs. And if we don't, we will sell your house for free. And then my disclaimer, excluding print mailers because it's not effective. So what that's telling them is, and I have some marketing material on this too, is that I will market their property extremely aggressive on the digital and social media fronts and all that stuff. And if they have a house, say a competitor in the same neighborhood or close by, whose agent is doing more than what we are doing, we're going to match it. And if we don't match it, we'll sell for free. And the truth is, I know they're not doing all the stuff that we're doing. If you went through this process, remember, we have this really unique product that they want. And you should not be an agent where someone is doing more than you. This defeats the whole purpose of this training. The whole purpose of this training is be the best and have the best product, and everything else comes easy. So we know we're the best product out there, and we know we do the most. And at the flip side, it says right there, if they say, hey, this person's doing this and you're not, I'm like, okay, we're going to match it. So just match it. Just match it and do more. And then you're safe. And if you decide not to do more, well, then you have to sell for free. Wouldn't it be a lot better to do more, right? But it does exclude print mailers because that is not really effective and is not effective in getting sales anymore. It's more effective at getting more listings, and we know that, and it's not cost effective anymore either. And plus, the seller can be like, well, I want you to send out 20,000 mailers. That's $20,000, right? Or $18,000. And it just doesn't make sense because it's not going to work anyways. So I have that excluded out there. So those are guarantees that I roll into my presentation. And then what I do is the net sheet. So the net sheet is, this goes back to the beginning. So if you remember in section 1, we went over the pricing thing. I'll say at this point, hey, I think your house is going to sell between $6 and $650. Of course, I'm not sure about it. I don't have 100% guarantees on any of this. That's what I feel it's going to sell for. And this is what you're going to walk away at the closing table between $6 and $650. And I don't know what the net sheet is or how you guys calculate it there, but here in Florida, the title policy is paid for the seller in Palm Beach County and the buyer in Broward County. And the title policy, you just get a title rate card from a local title company. You just have that handy, and you can calculate that very easily. I have a rate card, and that's what I use for my title company. It says for the sale price, what the title policy is going to be. If this were a seller in Broward County, Florida, where I'm at, one of the two counties I mainly work out of, that's zero because the buyers pay the title policy. And documentary stamps are taxes in Florida. You multiply the sales price by 0.007. That's not property taxes. They call it documentary stamps, but really they say it goes to like potholes and street lights and maintaining city services and parks and paying salaries, government money. And that's done on any transaction, regardless if they're FSBO or with you or anyone else. And then I roll in title costs, lien searches, miscellaneous fees, estoppels, and our real estate marketing fee, aka commission, into that thing where you see MCT miscellaneous. I roll that into one bundle, and then I say, hey, Mr. Seller, if we sell for $600, I don't know what your payoff is, but you'll get this cash money in your pocket, of course, minus your payoff and anything that unforeseen that I'm not aware of. And if we sell for $650, you can be with $604 minus your payoff and anything else that I'm just not aware of. So now they have a good idea what they're going to walk away at the closing table. That alone is more than what most realtors do. Forget everything else, right? And then this is the last slide of the presentation. I say, hey, if you like everything you see or you're ready to make the next step, contact us for an in-person or a virtual appointment, and then we'll discuss the pricing strategies, timing, coordination, and all that. Now, a big thing there that you want to see there is it says contact in person. Just like you're watching this video now, me doing this for you now, it's the same exact thing I do for my sellers here. So this is kind of key. What you want to understand is that when they call you, you always want to go for the sale quickly. And so they go, hey, can you come over Thursday at 4? I'm like, yeah, definitely. However, before I go, I want to do some homework, and I'm going to send you a video of what we do. It takes me about an hour to do this video. It's specific to your property and your situation, just for you. That's why it takes so long. It's not a generic video. It's very important that you watch this before our appointment. Is that cool? Yeah, that's cool. And then I'll send it to them, and then it's it's in a Google Drive. And then I'll ask them, did you see it? No. Did you see it? No. Did you see it? No. I'm like, hey, I really need you to see it. And then after they see it, then they'll usually go, okay, let's just go. Let's just move forward. Usually. Sometimes like, yeah, I still want you to come in person. And sometimes they don't watch it at all. And sometimes you have people with personalities where this video stuff wouldn't work anyhow. So you got to really use your discretion on what you're doing with the type of situation that you're in. So the next lesson, I'm going to do the whole presentation just like I was doing it for a seller. So check that out. But in the meantime, make sure you make your slides and put that all stuff together Don't rush through this stuff. This is super, super important stuff. This is pretty much the heart of what your business is. Okay, see you tomorrow.